Alright everybody, welcome back. Let me get you guys caught up because this is going to be a unique hodgepodge video of kind of everything that I'm doing at the moment. Alright, so for those who have been following along on my Instagram, I got the door bars in, painted, harnesses in, seats are in, I got the basket in. I love this thing. This is held in with this little latch here. Lifts up, pivots. And it's bolted in from the factory seat backs, so it worked pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. And this thing here is going to be taking the place of this plastic molded tool retaining kit. Now I love this thing because it keeps the tools all located. It keeps it so I know what tools are missing, and there's also enough room that I can sneak other wrenches underneath. So there's some wasted space here. Got an adjustable here, a bigger wrench here. And yeah, to get these out, I have to take some of these things out, but I maximize my storage. However, this doesn't fit in the basket, so I went and got this thing. It's like a little roll tool bag. These are nothing new, but I saw this one. It looked kind of cool. I like the colors, black and green. It's kind of my thing. And it's got, you know, labeled bags, and these also come off. It's hard to do one-handed. Basically, you can rip this bag off, hand it to somebody, and then get it back, put it back in the roll, buckle it up. Of course, I'm not doing it very good. Buckle it up, snap it in, and this can go right here. And in case of a rollover, I'm going to have straps or something in here holding this in to keep it from falling out and hitting me in the head, because this will start to weigh a ton after. I also want to mount my reservoirs on the inside, not the outside, in case of a rollover or I kind of pitch over onto something. I want it protected by the cage. I want to put these on here, so we'll have to fab up something a little bit better than this. This is what they came with. Not very good for what I want to do. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and load up the roll bag. Now the only problem is I had a mess here. I had a tripod. I have no idea what I did with it. I had a mess here. I had a tripod. I have no idea what I did with it. Not a clue. So I'm going to have to put you down on something while I load up this roll bag. Alright, now with that all done, I mean, this has really got nothing in it. And yeah, I left some stuff here. This wasn't part of my kit, that just happened to be there. And all these weird small sizes I've never actually touched. All these other ones I probably will never use. And I'm just looking, like, these are spark plug. You know what, this one might be useful. Let's take that one too. But the rest of the stuff I'll never use. Alright, so I was able to consolidate both bags into this one right here. Absolutely love it. Let me just kind of throw it next to everything. This one bag to these two bags. Now I do have a confession. I showed you the tools that are still left in here. I didn't put this in this bag because I never used this. I got this out of a junkyard years ago. I just never used it. And then this has it has a little bit of electrical stuff, a belt, a cert belt, some zip ties, some U-joint caps, some bolts and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but this bag is way overkill for what's in it. But for the most part, I got all my tools into this one bag. It's not very hard to handle. Fits nice in here. All right, off the soapbox. Let's go ahead and move from this to my next thing, which I think I'm going to do. I have an idea I want to try for mounts for the Reservoir. So these are the mounts that came with my shocks or my coilovers, or whatever you want to call them, and they've done well. They've loosened up. They've got some mileage on them. But what I want to do is get rid of this, because who knows how long the back of this rig is going to stay, and I want to move these to where it's going to be safe. I want to put them up here, out of harm's way, so I can reach the nitrous port and reach the adjustment. And I want to use something like this where I can weld it on to the cage, kind of like so. However, I must have been sick or something when I ordered these. These are like, you know, $2 or $3. I got them somewhere. I think someplace online. I forgot exactly where. But these are cool design. They weld. They don't have to be super structural, but you know they'll do the job. But once again, I think I might have been sick when I ordered these because I only ordered 2. I need 4 to kind of really hold those things in. So we're gonna make a set. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to mock up and make 2 more of these. All right. So what we're gonna do is kind of try to copy this exact mold. So I have matching pairs. Got some 2-inch tape, and I'm gonna cover. You can see these are sticking up because I can't fold a flat surface onto that contoured edge. Got a nice sharp razor blade. I'm going to start in the corner and just kind of go out, right? And then that'll allow me to fold down the tape. I don't want any real creases. I'm going to do the other side. Okay. Just like that. And now what I'm going to do is take the razor blade and just trim around the edges. So now just fine tune this any place that's sticking out. So it looks like this all the way around. All right, so now what we have here is a perfectly sized template for all the contours and everything that we're going to need. So we'll peel this off, put it on a nice piece of steel. I think this is maybe 1/8. All right, so now that I got my template, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to try to save this so I can do multiple. But basically what we're going to do is cut this out, and it's going to be bigger, but it's going to be a flatter version of this, and I'll show you how we bend this. Now, I already made one of these off camera, but you would want to do 2. Line it up, trace it out, and then we're going to go ahead and cut this with a die grinder. So give me a second. All right, so here's what we were left with. It's not perfect yet, but that's what a little bit of flap disc will do. So just give me 1 second. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lock this down in the vise. I'm going to lock this side in first, hammer it down, flip it over, hammer down the other side. So that way I am making, where is it? These 2 little legs. Now, if you look, these 2 are contoured for the diameter of the tube, and I'm going to do the same thing wherever that is. Right here. So you see the 2 little cutouts I have? They're not perfect. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of make sure that those are aimed the right direction. Whew. Every time. All right, so what I did was I heated it up, got a nice cherry red, doesn't take much, metal's not that thick, and I used some vice grips and a hole saw, just because I don't have any metal tube. What am I talking about? I do have metal tube. I'm a tool. I got metal tube over there. Well, anyway, I use this because I can clamp down on it nice and tight. You can do the same thing with a piece of tube as well, but, you know, to each his own. This just handy. I think this is 2-inch. The rest of the stuff is 1.5 and 3/4, so this is a little bit bigger. I think that's why I chose this. But yeah, I'm using this. I'm going to let it cool down. Once I let it cool down, I'm going to buzz it with the flap disc, make it look all pretty, get the contour I want, and then I'll have a couple of these kicking around, and I can mount my reservoir. So let that cool down. I'll be right back. All right, so it's all cooled off. I hit it with the finger sander, cleaned up some of the edges. In fact, I'm going to go back and hit up this one again. This is not up to spec yet, but for the most part, they're fairly uniform. What I'll do is I'll probably put this on one side, this on the other, and then I'm going to take this adhesive foam, cut it to fit inside the contour of this, so that way the reservoirs aren't in here scratching up. They're like, you know, padded in and not moving around. So yeah, I'm going to take this, hit this with the flap disc a little bit more. It's a little rougher than I would have liked. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that right now. All right, so now we're back at it. Next day, just trying to plot where I want to put the reservoir mounts. So I want to do them on the inside in case of a rollover or something comes through. I want to be protected. I think I'm going to do them up here, like one here, so that way I can have the reservoir basically like this. So I can have access to the dampening and then the nitrogen port. So like right like that. Tack these in, get these kind of where I want them, and then I just checked, and of course I don't have the right worm clamps to mount these, so I'm going to get these kind of mocked up, put in place, zip tie these in for now, and then when I can get to the store to get worm clamps, we'll hard mount this sucker. Days later, I actually should be wheeling right now. However, I forgot I had some other obligations, so I kind of had to bail on that. And I also woke up to my neighbor hitting the tow rig. I was all packed up, ready to go, truck on the trailer and everything, and my neighbor from across the street backed up into my tow rig, which was parked on the street. Luckily, nothing too bad to the Yukon. I just got to buff out some paint. My neighbor, on the other hand, not so much. Got a good old dent in there, so I might actually try to help her out later on, but we'll see what happens. With that being said, don't have a whole heck of a lot of time. I really don't feel like being too crafty. What I want to do is actually fix, or actually not fix, I want to get rid of my windshield. It is pitted, it's cracked. If you look over there, it's totally, you know, cracked. I also have metal grinding dust in here. So, you know, there's no way, I don't want to spend another $200-300 on another windshield, so I'm just going to go ahead and rip the sucker out. I got one of these. Good old HF to the rescue. They also have a blade style, which is like a handle and a blade. However, with the cage being there, I'm probably going to have to saw it because I can't get straight up and down to the window because of the spreader bar and then the AA pillars. All right, but first I'm going to peel back this rubber seal here. Get that out, and then I can poke a hole in the corner with this really long dagger looking thing, and then that feeds the wire through. I'm going to keep the wire a little bit longer because I'm all by myself and I got to reach on inside of the rig, so I might just do like a 4-foot long section and just kind of bear hug around the rig and just back and forth. So I don't know, we'll see how well this goes. I'm going to throw you on the time lapse and wish me luck. so I got the window all taken out. Now that was a bit of a a bit of a workout, but I went back, cleaned up everything with the razor blade. For the most part, got all the loose glass out. I did find a bunch of rust up there, so you know what? It was only a matter of time before this thing rusted and just started leaking. During some good rainstorms, I was getting some water on the passenger side, and with the amount of rust that I see above the passenger side, I mean, it was basically all along the top. And the rig kind of does sit a little bit passenger-esque. I gotta wonder if maybe that's where I was getting the water from. Like, I thought it was coming in from the cowl and everything, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe, just maybe, it was up on top. So don't have to worry about that anymore. I just gotta get a cover if I want to keep this thing outside and keep it from getting like drenched in. But yeah, let's move forward. So you'll see during the time lapse I was kind of fighting with the windshield at one point, and come to find out, I completely forgot about the rearview mirror. So I was trying to pull it through the cage here, and if the rearview mirror is still attached, it's not going to come through. But I don't have the windshield. I won't have anything to really mount it to, and some people will say, well, if you're not driving on the road, do you really need it? I still use it on the trail, and now that I'm going to be locked in really good, really well with the harnesses and everything, I'd like to be able to see what's behind me. So I'm going to just mess around, see if I can mount this with just a few minutes of my time. The plan is I'm going to take this little nub that's left over from the visor, and I'm going to drill this out, put a nut cert in here, and drill out the rearview mirror and see if I can mount this thing. Rear view mirror. If I want to put it up, I don't need it, I can put it there. If I need it, flip it down. It does kind of get away with my switches, but not really. Yeah, it is what it is. It'll work. Whatever. If I don't like it, I'll just take it out. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video. I know it was a bunch of small stuff, but really that's all I'm really doing right now, because I'm tired of having this thing out of commission. So I can't go wheeling. So I'm just trying to keep it together so I can get through a majority of the season. I have a couple big events planned that I want to attend, and I just want to keep it together till then. But with that being said, I'll catch you on the next one.